We're going to head back live now to Melanie Ng. Mel.
Hi, Andrea. I'm joined by Alan Bonner. You're a risk crisis specialist. We are waiting on a press conference, an update from officials. It got postponed by about half an hour. And we've seen this. This is not the first time this has happened. Why is that, and what does that say to us?
Well, many people in the public affairs and media relations business wait for perfect knowledge of something in order to announce anything. And what I always counsel them, and have written about in a book on crisis management, is that everything is newsworthy at the beginning. The time of day, the color of hair, the height, the weight, the dress, wearing a baseball cap backwards. And they have to get used to the gradual and sequential release of information as they get it. Now, as a journalist and anchor, and everybody in this room knows, that's what you need. Any shred of new evidence. We saw a news conference yesterday, I think it was yesterday, 18 minutes before there was any
us
news.
Watching that. That's right.
I mean, give me a break. That is not the purpose of a news conference. We don't need everybody who wants to get on TV having their photo opportunity and moment of fame, every police agency, etc. What we need at this moment, and I think what people viewing want and need, is age, history. This was a 26-year-old police officer, had been a civilian, and police are civilians,
yes.
But he had been a civilian, so-called civilian employee of the police department, and he became a campus cop who wouldn't have the training or the kit of a regular officer.
We're speaking of Sean Collier, the officer on the MIT campus.
And he's 26 years old. What probably happened, wild speculation on my part, but he said, "Hey, you guys, what are you doing?" And boom, he's dead. And this explains to the public in a way why when a police officer, especially an American police officer, comes at you for a minor traffic infraction or something, they often have their hand on their gun. They are trained to suspect the worst. This person, one wishes, had more and different training to have called for backup, and maybe he did. I'm speculating again.
Right.
So the facts of the case and the facts of the matter, the perpetrators, the victim, the methodology, where the other guy might be, these are the things we need to know now, not we're holding a news conference a half an hour from now.
Right.
Now it's an hour from now.
Well, for the public, and we've discussed this a little bit with our previous guest, and it is the role of social media, and it is playing a massive one in this case, because people are learning the here and now from social media, whether or not it is accurate or inaccurate. People take it as accurate when they see it, because everyone wants to be first with that information. How dangerous is that?
Well, it's very dangerous. I mean, it's very helpful, but it's very dangerous. Remember, all the lawyers watching know that eyewitness testimony is notoriously unreliable. If you want to know what didn't happen somewhere, ask 3 eyewitnesses. You're going to get a variety of different stories. I was talking to you yesterday, I think I made reference to the Kennedy assassination. My wife pointed out that's ancient history. I mean, I was barely cognizant of it when it happened. I was too young. But let's go back to the Lincoln assassination. Very few people know that John Wilkes Booth's body was not positively identified in the barn in which he was shot and burned up. So, there's a bit of a mystery about many of these events. Social media simply exacerbates it. It's rumor, it's innuendo, it's eyewitness accounts. I've worked with the military who've looked into social media, and it can be valuable if you get 1,000 troops on the ground saying, "I think that's our plane."
Sure.
It's probably our plane. So that's where the wisdom of the crowd is useful. Here it can be dangerous too.
We've got about a minute left, and I want to look ahead. So we are waiting again for this news conference. 3 key pieces of information. What would you like to hear, and what would you like to hear right off the top?
Well, I want to hear the events that led to the death of this officer and the death of the suspect. I want to hear where the other person might be, and I commend the police for using robocalls to keep the neighborhood safe. We have a case in this town, the so-called Jane Doe case, where the police didn't tell a neighborhood that a rapist was out and a woman got raped. So they are wise in communicating this information. Is there more information that can keep citizens safe with a guy like this on the run?
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to have you stick around if you can, Alan. I appreciate your insight. Meantime, we're going to go back to Andrea Puno.